I remember the day Marcus pulled into the parking lot in a brand new black BMW. Everyone came outside to look at it. He was grinning like he had won the lottery. Maybe he thought he had. What nobody knew yet was that car was paid for with my idea, my work, my 6 months of late nights and early mornings. I sat at my desk and watched him laugh with the executives. My hands were shaking. My stomach was sick. But how did we get here?
My name does not matter. What matters is that I was good at my job. Really good. I had worked at that marketing firm for 3 years. I showed up early. I stayed late. I cared about every single project I touched. And I was proud of that. Marcus became my manager about 1 year before all of this happened. At first, he seemed great. He was charming and easy to talk to. He cracked jokes in team meetings. He made me feel seen. He told me I was the most talented person on his team. I believed him. I trusted him completely. We built what felt like a close working relationship. He asked for my input on everything. Strategy sessions, client pitches, campaign ideas. He always wanted my perspective. I thought that meant he respected me. I thought we were actually a team. There were small signs I chose to ignore. He never gave me credit in group emails. Whenever I shared an idea in a meeting, he would nod slowly. He would say, "Let me think about that." 3 days later, he would present that exact same idea as his own. I noticed it, but I told myself I was being paranoid. I trusted Marcus. I trusted him completely. That was my only mistake.
Then one afternoon, I shared the biggest idea of my entire career, and everything started to unravel. I called it the Loyalty Loop campaign. I had worked on it for 6 months, late nights, full weekends, dozens of revisions. It was a complete client retention strategy, original, data-backed, and ready to execute. I was more proud of this than anything I had ever built at that company. I sent everything to Marcus in a private email, all my files attached. I asked him to review it before I brought it to upper management. He said he loved it. He said it was brilliant. He told me, "Leave this with me." He wanted to make sure it landed perfectly. I should have known right then, but I didn't. 2 weeks later, I was not invited to the quarterly strategy meeting. That had never happened before. I asked Marcus why. He said it was a space issue. He smiled and told me he would fill me in after. He never filled me in. Instead, a coworker pulled me aside in the hallway. She told me Marcus had presented a groundbreaking new campaign to the board. He called it the Loyalty Framework. Same concept, same data points, same structure. He had changed the name and 3 slide colors. That was the full extent of his contribution. Stay with me, because what I found next made my stomach drop. I pulled up the company's internal presentation portal. His slides were uploaded. I opened them. I was staring at my own work, word for word, chart for chart, his name printed on every single page. But that was just the beginning. 3 days after his presentation, Marcus was promoted to senior director. He received a bonus. 1 week later, he drove that BMW into the parking lot and showed it off to every executive in the building. And then came the twist I never saw coming. I found out that Marcus had gone to HR. He told them I had submitted incomplete, unauthorized work. He had already begun building a case to push me out of the company entirely. He was not just stealing from me, he was trying to erase me. That was the lowest I had ever felt in my entire professional life.
I cried on the drive home that night. I sat in my car in the driveway for 40 minutes. I could not move. I felt stupid. I felt invisible. I felt completely alone. And I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking I went straight to HR. I did not, because Marcus had already been there first. If I walked in without proof, I would look like the problem. I needed to be smarter than that. That quiet moment in my car, That was the moment everything changed. I stopped crying. I started thinking. I went back through every email, every message, every timestamp I had. And then I found something I had not planned for at all. A twist I did not expect, but one that would eventually save everything. I had accidentally left location metadata embedded inside the original files I sent to Marcus, invisible to the naked eye, but completely traceable by anyone who knew how to look. And I knew exactly how to look. There was something else too. I had shared early drafts of the loyalty loop with 2 coworkers over lunch 6 months before Marcus ever opened a single one of my files. They both remembered clearly. They both had messages to prove it. I smiled for the first time in months, and it was not a kind smile. I was done being the person who trusts the wrong people and quietly pays for it. I had 30 days until my annual review, 30 days to do this the right way, 30 days to burn it all down properly. The clock started ticking.
Step 1 was documentation. I spent 1 full week organizing everything. Original files with timestamps, the email thread where I first sent Marcus my complete campaign, metadata embedded in my documents, screenshots of his presentation uploaded weeks after I sent him my work. I printed everything twice and stored copies off-site. I was not leaving a single thing to chance. Step 2 was witnesses. I went back to both coworkers quietly and carefully. I explained exactly what had happened. Both of them were furious. Both agreed to write formal statements confirming they had seen my original work months before Marcus ever touched it. Keep watching, because this next part is where it really gets good. Step 3 was the external audit trail. Our firm used a third-party project management platform. Every file upload, every view, every download was logged automatically. I contacted the platform's support team directly and requested an official access report on my campaign. The report came back 3 days later. It showed Marcus had downloaded my files 17 times over 2 months, 17, and never once flagged them as mine to the team. You probably think you know where this is going. You don't. The week before my review, Marcus found out I was gathering documents. He went straight to the VP of operations. He told her I was creating a hostile work environment. He was trying to get me suspended before I could make a single move. I almost panicked. But I had already sent everything to HR and to the VP's own assistant 2 days earlier. The case was already in formal review. He was too late. On a Thursday morning, Marcus was called into a meeting he was completely unprepared for. He walked in confident. He walked out with a security escort by his side. His access badge was deactivated before he even reached his desk. I watched from across the floor. I did not smile. I just nodded. Every single step of that plan had landed exactly where it needed to.
Marcus lost his senior director title. He lost his bonus. He lost the job he had spent years climbing toward. The promotion built on my work collapsed under the full weight of the truth. That BMW? Last I heard, he sold it. He tried to find work at 2 other firms in the same industry. Both of them had connections at our company. Word travels fast in small industries. Doors that were once wide open for him closed quietly and permanently. Meanwhile, I was offered his former role. I turned it down, not out of bitterness, but because something better came through. A competing firm had heard about the case. They wanted someone with my skills and my integrity. I accepted their offer 2 months later at a higher salary than Marcus ever made. The Loyalty Loop campaign was officially credited to me in the company's records. My name, my work, finally documented where it belonged. He thought stealing my idea would make him untouchable. Instead, it made him unemployable. You cannot build a career on someone else's foundation. Eventually, the whole thing falls, and you fall with it. Honestly, this story hits hard because it is a reminder that patience and documentation are more powerful than any revenge fantasy. What would you have done in that parking lot moment? Stayed quiet or gone to war? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more stories like this one, subscribe, because we are just getting started.